Brennan Sonne, the head coach of the Saskatoon Blades, joins us as we continue to count down toward the start of the 2022-23 season. Coach, hey, let's jump right into it. As we speak right now, you've gotten an exhibition game in your belt, under your belt here yesterday. But in general terms, let's talk about the camp and just the mood around your team. How is everybody kind of feeling? What's the excitement level like as we continue to kind of count down toward the start of the regular season?
Excitement level is very high. The vibes around the dressing room are extremely positive. We're returning most of our roster. So we're returning a number of guys, and there's also guys that even played games with us last year that have been with us. So it feels almost as though we're just kind of picking up where we left off. So the camaraderie is already there. The brotherhood's already there. It's very positive around the rink right now.
Yeah, I was just chatting with Aiden, and he seems pretty pumped to be back in the fold here and back in Saskatoon. But I'd be remiss, Brennan, if I didn't ask you about the moves you guys made last week and the new guys you brought into the fold. Connor Roulette, Dallas Stars prospect, Justin Lees, a guy you brought in from the Vancouver Giants. How have they kind of started to settle into your group, and maybe tell me a little bit about what you see in them in your kind of early days in your relationship with them as players?
Yeah, different players. So we can start with Connor, where it was pretty easy for us as a coaching staff to see right away the talent level that he has. He's going to be offensively dynamic for us. He's going to be relied on in a lot of situations. We're thrilled to bring a player of his level into the group. And then Lee's, he is kind of something we haven't really had. In my opinion, I think he has NHL written all over him. Really, both of them do. But yeah, Justin is, he's a big body, but really strong, and he skates really, really well. He can shoot a puck. He does it all. He's almost like Tom Wilson, in my opinion, currently. Not suspension Tom Wilson, but the current one. That power forward, and I think he has NHL written all over him.
When you look at your returnees, I mean, you mentioned a lot of guys are back, no question about it. Certainly from the outside, one would think that would certainly be a strength of your group going into the new season. But in your mind, what are some of the things that excite you about the group you have and the potential that they have, looking ahead in the weeks, months ahead?
Yeah, we were a young team last year. We were one of the youngest. But with returning so many guys, we've now turned into one of the older teams. So the expectations and the hunt for a banner here is higher. That's the goal here. We think and believe fully in the group that we have coming back that we should be one of the top end teams in the East, although the division is really, really good. So that's kind of the expectation. It's increased, and we like that. Pressure is a privilege, as the cliche goes. Up front, especially with the guys we're returning, we have a lot of young players that in most years would just be a lock on the team. But with all the guys we're returning, it's a bit of a dogfight. We're returning 7 defensemen along with guys that also play games for us. And you said you already spoke to Aiden, him coming back from injury, and some of the steps the other guys have been taking. We're pleased with that. We lose Nolan Meyer, of course. Everyone knows the story, winning his goaltender in WHL history, and he was a big backbone for us. So for Elliott and Chadwick, like it's going to be fun to watch. Like they're going to have every opportunity to kind of take the reins. We expect that they'll both get games, almost a tandem style start for the group, and we're excited to see how that plays out as well because we feel that they both have talent, WHL level talent to be a starter.
One of your forwards that I think has kind of, for whatever reason, been under the radar a little bit, despite putting up massive numbers last year, is Brandon Lisowski. And this is a guy that, of course, is a draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the summer. Given that opportunity that he's had to kind of get a bit of an NHL experience with Toronto, both in the summer, and I know he's off to training camp here shortly too. Tell me about him and how that experience might help him as he continues to kind of gain more of a veteran foothold in this league and with your group.
Yeah, I think Lizzo would say the same thing. He hasn't been anointed or handed everything. He's had to scratch and claw claw for everything he's gotten, and so be it. He would say the same thing, but we know that just makes him want it that much more. You can see it in his first couple of days in camp, although he's already in Toronto. You could just see it. He's hungry, and I love it. So good on him for scratching and clawing for everything he's gotten, and that will continue. And if he continues that, it'll just make him that much more ready to face adversity this season and in the rest of his career. Adversity is not a bad thing. It gets you tested and ready for the real world and pro hockey.
I was going to say the same thing. I talked to him in July, and it was my first chance to speak with him. And the word that kind of jumped out to me was kind of determined with respect to kind of his mindset. My last one for you, Brennan, we've been talking in our office a lot about, the upcoming NHL draft and the class of 2005s that are, poised to really get a lot of attention placed upon them this year. No secret, you've got a guy on your roster who's right up near the top of that list in Tanner Molendyk, a guy that had success in the summertime with the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. I mean, tell me about him, his mindset, and whether or not that experience of winning a gold medal in Red Deer has maybe given him a bit of a jump start, a little bit of momentum heading into camp this year.
Yeah, he's moving really well. He's noticeably bigger. You can see he's confident. The one thing that I would say about Tanner is we just want to keep him skating. We want to keep him moving. We want to, let the horses off the reins a little bit. Now, that being said, with the NHL draft, and it's such a distraction for some players where it's their whole focus and they lose a little bit of attention on the day-to-day. I think it was like 4 years it took Leonardo da Vinci to paint the Mona Lisa or something like that. It doesn't happen overnight. Kind of how we focus with our guys is let's just get better every single day, chip away every single day, take it day by day, focus on the day as opposed to the end. And if you just worry about getting better every single day, whether it's in the gym, on the ice, a certain skill, a certain tactic, a certain structure, if we're just honing something every single day, by the end of the season, come draft time, you won't even have to worry about it. You'll already have your Mona Lisa ready.